live on YouTube, Tris.
Okay, pass it real
But
quick.
I need it though.
I can give you it. I just sent it.
To be
Okay.
live on YouTube.
There you go.
You wanna watch?
Yeah.
You can watch it in here, but no, I would rather watch out here.
Wow.
Um, because
I can turn
the
it down.
noise is gonna be feedback.
Um,
So it's not gonna sound good online. So come on, son. Huh?
stay there for one more day.
Yeah. You already said you. Come on, son. If you choose to come out here and sit in the living room, then come here. Trista? I'm about to get started right now. So be quiet. All right, participants, we are about to get started right now. No, watch it right here. I'm live, Tristan. Okay, okay. You don't have to. Just do it. You don't have to tell me. All right.
And Richard, can you hear me?
We're getting ready to get started right now. Mute up.
Okay.
2 minutes. 2 minutes to start. All right, all right. This is your boy. It's your boy Rich. We are officially struggle streaming today. As you can tell with the intro, this is my first time going live, and the intro is not what I planned it out to be. Uh, so uh, today the topic um, is conspiracy, worldwide conspiracy, and I have a group of elevated individuals um, with elevated minds, and with that, we as elevated individuals, we practice courtesy with one another, and this goes without saying, but we let each other speak one at a time, and there is no bullying and no intimidating and like you see on other shows. We're not going to have that here. As your host, I have guests on my platform just as if you are a guest in my home. I want everybody to feel safe and welcome and all of the things that come from that. You will not see fighting and infighting and name calling or none of that. Not on my show. So with that, I have a couple of guests. I'm supposed to be having more, but you know how it is with daily life. Uh, I'm going to now that is my soundbite. That is my soundbite, and I live with that. I live with that motto because I don't have all the money in the world. I don't have all the flashiest equipment in the world. All I got is a laptop and some other things. You know what I mean? I ain't got the best cameras, 4K, thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? So I'm making it happen. This is, like I said, this is our first live stream on YouTube. I ran out of time. I would have been on Facebook too, but it's going to be in the future, not too distant future. But let's go around and let's let our distinguished panel introduce themselves. Let's start off with you, King.
All right. Well, again, it's a pleasure to be on your show one more time. And, I invited Karma on the line, and she's going to be listening in because I would say that she, is interested in the topic, not as a participant, but just to listen in on it. So she'll be on the line as well. I believe she called in on the line instead of going in on the Zoom app. And so if you see like an 801 number, that's her. But as far as for me, yes, I am so happy that you've invited me to your show to not only speak about, world conspiracies, but also, what is it or how do we feel about those things and what conspiracies have we even noticed, here in 2022? Because as down through the years, there have been many conspiracies. And depending on which one you wanted to touch on, I'll be more than happy to go in on that.
Okay, well, since you said that, and where is my people, man? I mean, we cannot get black folk to support each other no matter what you do, man. You can sit there and pull each and every individual teeth, out. I invited so many people to be on this show, man. It's just it's a shame, man. But I understand that people have things to do and stuff like that, and shit happens. Stuff come on, but I just gotta say it, man. Like I practice what I preach, and I spend my time and I go on other people's platforms, and you know what I mean. I'm very I'm not a selfish individual, man. I'm a very giving individual. You know what I mean. And I support my people. But I mean, uh, and I got to give it to you, man. I got to give you your props, man, for sticking in with me, and because this thing is gonna take off, and I ain't gonna. If it's one thing, I never forget, man. You know what I'm saying? Who was there for me, from the beginning, King. You know what I mean?
That's right. Because just like
I'll
you
never
see
forget
that.
it. And look, I'm gonna tell you this too. And you keep this between me and you and YouTube Live, all right? But I'm not against profit sharing. You understand?
Right.
Now watch how many people come trying to jump on after I said that. I'm not against profit sharing. That means that if I make a specific dollar amount, right, on this network, and the people that have been with me who familiarize themselves on the show and come on every chance they get, I will split that quarterly. You know what I mean? For
Right. Right.
however many people decide to come in and stick with me from the beginning. I'm not talking about after the ship has sailed and the rocket has taken off. I'm talking about in the beginning right now. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. And just like that portrait you have behind you, the Marvels, because each and every one of those superheroes, they have abilities and they have supernatural powers. But when they all come together, they become a team, and they're able to defeat that enemy that has rose up against them. So yes, even though we all have individual powers,
Hey,
w-
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. My bad.
yes, sir. So even though we all have individual powers, at the same time, if we can all, like you said, come together as one, you know, we can do some wonderful, marvelous things.
Yeah, right. And you know, since you brought that up before, I'm gonna play this little video. Then we're gonna get started. But since you brought that up, my brother, uh, not one individual of that team right there, right? Not one individual was more important than the other, right? Every single one of those Avengers members played an essential part in every single adventure that they experienced. Um, Now, they did have a leader, as all teams should, right? But even that leader was willing to sacrifice himself for the good of accomplishing what those goals were for that team. Like Tony Stark, for instance, he sacrificed himself to save not only the team, but to save the world and the universe. Captain America was willing to sacrifice himself. So Captain America never viewed himself more important than any individual on that team, right? So when you come together, when you try to do something to come together as a collaboration, right? And you find yourself in the midst of people who think of themselves as great or as, the star or, David Ruffin or something to that extent, right? You remember David Ruffin on the Temptations? He thought, hey, I'm David Ruffin. Who are you?
That's
All the
right.
other people, they ended up kicking him off, because he was toxic to the rest of the group. Um, if you ever find yourself, this is for not you, King, but anybody watching this. If you ever find yourself in the midst of a collaboration and there's one or two individuals who think that they are greater than the sum total of that group, then you are not on a team. That is not
Right.
teamwork. That is not a collaboration. Um, there's going to be plenty of opportunities. Now, look, I'm not doing this for money. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this for fun. I got a great job. You know what I'm saying? I got other endeavors, other ambitions. You know what I mean? But I don't. That's not to say. That's not to say that when I do something, right, I don't want to do it half-assed because I am looking to be great at this. You know.
Right.
Uh, but I don't need. I don't need this. You know what I'm saying? This
Right.
is fun for me. This shit is fun, bro. Um. Now, with that said, you will never. Nobody will ever accuse me of not being humble. You know, not having humility. You know what I mean? Um, and I'm not saying that I'm holier than thou. But you know, I've reached a point in my life where certain things are more important than others. You know, virtue and loyalty and you know all of those characteristics are to me are I value way higher than any dollar. You know what I mean?
Good point. Good point.
That's my Tony Stark. That's my
That's
Tony
good.
Stark.
That's good. The
Yeah, so let
Letterman.
me play this video. Yes, sir. Let me play this video and you tell me uh, what you think. Let's springboard off of that.
No, there's no volume to the video.
Okay, just you know what? I got to do something real quick. Can you elaborate on what I just said for a second?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so mainly, going in on the conspiracies or whatnot, depending on what angle we hit to tonight, we can actually see, how each other feel about these conspiracies. Are they, hoax? Could it be truth to it? Could it be something that, one could consider to be live and active today? You know, some of the conspiracies that I've heard, number one, it would be, is the earth flat? You've heard some people, build on if the earth is flat or is it a globe? Is it a flat disk or is it in a circular globe, structure? And so also, you've heard probably about the global warming. Is it a hoax? Is it any truth to it? You've probably heard something about, the conspiracy do vaccines cause autism, you know, especially during this pandemic, we've seen some things happen, not only through the health, but also through the mental health industry, so depending on what angle we want to come through, um, you're able to give your opinion and your thoughts on those things. But moving forward, you also have, was the landing on the moon real or was it fake? You know, that was something that a lot of people battled with back in the 1960s. To see, was it staged by the U.S. To say that they landed on the moon. You know, then you have, do aliens exist? You know, according to science, some could prove it, some cannot. And what Mir D. Letterman was talking about earlier yesterday, we were speaking about the conspiracy on CERN, that's CERN, where they're basically running this somewhat time traveling, system that actually enables one to travel through portals into other worlds, including a gateway to hell. So depending on, what are your thoughts on those things? Has this European Organization for Nuclear Research launched something that could change everything? Or is it, just something that is just left as a conspiracy? So, um, depending on where you are with that, Rick.
Okay, dealing with the CERN thing, right? As far as I know, I'm not no expert in this, but I'll just break down what I know. Okay, uh, a group of countries got together to for a scientific experiment, and basically they were looking for something called the God particle. I guess the building blocks of nature and the whole universe, basically, right? Now, in their attempt to build the God particle or to locate and try to extract the God particle, they built these tunnels miles and miles long, and they built them underground. And they took molecules and they made them go extremely fast, like about as fast as the speed of light, to crash them into each other, right? So as while during that attempt to find the God particle, they started to open up portals, and many of there have been reports that these portals have been of a demonic nature. Uh, in other words, they succeeded in opening up the gates of hell and unleashing evil on this world, on this earth. Um, the one guy in Stephen Hawking warned them about it and told them not to do it, but they did it anyway. They did it anyway, and there have been reports that a lot of the workers have come sick and got depressed and suicidal, and uh, you know things of that nature. Now, I listened to a report. Now, I was supposed to have people on here to talk about this. Uh, People who are very, very familiarized with this stuff, and God knows what they're doing right now. Maybe they'll show up, maybe they won't. But uh, I've listened to a lot of reports on scientific science, well, basically scientists explaining and breaking it down to a layman, and they basically said that CERN, um, what they ended up doing is in CERN was uh, discovering antimatter. Okay. Now, in this universe, in this dimension that we live in, we have what's called matter, which is like the basic building blocks of this universe. Okay. There's something that's called antimatter that is not of this universe, and that's like the number system. When you every value of a number is a positive, right? And then you go below zero and it starts to become negative. Well, below zero is what you would call antimatter, right? Antimatter is an extremely, I don't even have the word for it. I don't want to say toxic, and I don't even want to say radioactive. Um, but they say it's very, very extremely dangerous, right? That you can't even be within feet of it, okay? Because it will kill you. And I guess what they're trying to do is they're trying to weaponize it. You know, my cousin was just telling me last night. He said 1 ounce, one drop of that antimatter can cause a a terrible, terrible tidal wave. Just one drop, one drop. So it's human nature to for mankind to want power and to discover things and um, try to use it to anything to their advantage. Uh, Weaponization of things. Um, any kind of advantage you can get, one nation can get over another nation, and it all translates to power and greed at the end of the day. So let me play for you this video, and I just wanted your thoughts on
Sure.
this, my brother King.
Okay. Still no volume.
Hello, my brother. Can you hear that or not?
No,
You could not hear that.
no.
Man, that's weird, bro. Yeah, this is a struggle stream, man. This is a struggle stream.
It's a conspiracy.
That is right. Exactly. Exactly. Let me try to figure out why this is not. Because it's weird. You can hear my voice, right?
Right. It's the Illuminati trying to keep us from getting information. That's what it is.
Right. Can you hear it now? My brother, can you hear it now?
I cannot hear it. No, it's still silent.
Okay. Basically, I have no idea what to do to try to fix this right now because you're supposed to hear everything. Can you tell me if you hear this or not?
No, I can see the video, but I cannot hear it.
Okay, so you can't hear anything that I play in my transitions.
No.
That is so. That is so weird. Like my boy used to say, KS, rest in peace. We are building the plane while we're flying. Yeah, that's very weird. Well, I'm
But it
gonna have
looked
to do
like
it
they were
another way.
speaking about the that fire that killed tens of thousands of chickens at the Wright County farm. Is that what it was
Yeah, I got a
about?
better. I got another idea. I got another idea. Uh, Mute up real quick, and I'll play it this way. Okay.
All right.
Can you hear that, John?
No, I cannot.
Yeah, that's crazy. I should have had all this figured out, right?
Well, let me check with Hiba too. Hiba, can you hear it? Karma, can you hear it? You gotta unmute yourself.
Okay. Let me. All right. So I guess we're not gonna have any videos on this time because I'm not about to. While we're live, I'm not about to sit here and try to diagnose what's going on here. Um, I am definitely in a cave with a box of scraps. We are definitely in a cave with a box of scraps. You ever see that movie Iron Man?
Oh man, I love that movie.
Yeah. So I don't know why. I don't know why you can't hear the sound on my videos because just the other day when we did our Zoom meeting, everything was fine and everybody could hear everything fine. Maybe there's something with YouTube where I don't know, something I didn't do or um, I don't know. We'll see. I'll diagnose everything when we get off of here. But basically, the video was about the fires in the processing companies. There have been about close to 30 of them in a short time frame, right? And it just can't be a coincidence. Like places like poultry centers where they slaughter chickens, other places where they cultivate eggs from the chickens, other food processing places like a potato chip place, another place where they produced fertilizer for the crops. Even manufacturers that handle vegetables. There was one place, it was a salad place, I believe. Uh, and then there was one place where a plane actually flew down and the place exploded as a result of the impact. So something is going on. Something is going on, and it all cannot be a coincidence. So, what do you think is behind that, my brother?
Well, when you look at what's going on, with that first thing you mentioned, the fire that kills the chickens, you know, you got to think about it. The Wright County Sheriff's Office, they made their point about it, and they said it was an estimated of 200,000 chickens inside. So that being the case, that could affect not only the food industry, but it could affect, the economy when it relates to, supply and demand. And so a lot of them was affected due to the fire, and a lot of them were affected due to the smoke inhalation. So that being the case, it's a bad thing. Even if they survived, if they, captured the chickens that had survived, now food quality has to be questioned because what did these chickens, digest through all of that smoke and all of that debris? And because so many chickens were killed by the supply and demand, are they still going to process those chickens that were left over to where it would actually threaten the lives of those that love them some chicken? In which what major racial, demographic, would take part of that? You have the African American, so-called African American, population. Because I think that we are one of the main people, in this earth that consume a lot of chicken, and it's not just by coincidence that they caused that to happen to the chicken, So, I mean, depending on how you look at it, it's a bad situation.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I agree. Um, we are. I mean, I don't have the numbers, but at this juncture, I can say without being stereotypical that we are the biggest consumers. The African Americans are the biggest consumers of chicken and the whole chicken and the whole pig. Um, yeah, and that's a great point, and I didn't even consider that. I didn't even because everybody got to eat, but um, my thing is what is really going on, you know? What is the agenda behind it? The ultimate end game. Like the Avengers right up here. What is the end game? Because with every action, there's a reaction, right? With every chess move, there's a strategy. You may not be able to see the whole strategy with that one chess move, right? You can't see inside it. Well, you can try to anticipate certain things, right? But you cannot see the entire strategic end game that chess player is trying to do by just that one move, right? So here you have a series of chess moves, right? Do you play chess, my brother?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So you understand the analogy
Right.
that I was just
Yes.
uh yeah, so when when I see news reports of this, right? I know that there is more than meets the eye. There is something in between the lines, written in between the lines. You understand?
That's right.
Uh, so yeah. What are your thoughts? I got to do something real quick. What are your thoughts?
Right. Well, when you look at, how many chicken and fish shops are in urban cities, it will blow your mind versus in the suburban cities that may not host a lot of urban people. You know, you will have the dominant society, that possess those high-end properties or the higher end, demographics when it comes to, you know, Southeast Michigan, when it comes to at large. You wouldn't really see a lot of chicken and fish shops in those areas, but in predominantly, urbanized areas, you will find a fish and chicken shop on every corner, including inside of the liquor store. Majority of the hot food that they serve inside of the gas stations and the liquor stores are fish and chicken. And you know how we like our fish and chicken. What's the major seasoning that we normally put on the fish and chicken? Lemon pepper, right?
Uh, yeah, lemon pepper. I was gonna say, what's that red stuff I always use, man? That salty
Yeah,
stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
that's right. You're talking
Damn, I
about,
can't even think about it.
yeah, well, you got just the
That's
traditional
that's
red hot
salt,
sauce.
seasoned salt,
Yeah, seasoned
seasoned
salt.
salt, seasoned
That's
salt.
right. And
Yeah,
so
I
they
was
ask you, do you want
so
us to put the lemon
so.
pepper on it? Uh-huh. Go ahead.
So are you saying that they destroyed a lemon pepper plant?
Well, I'm saying that they will use lemon pepper because if you put too much lemon pepper on chicken, it could cause high blood pressure. It could cause elevated, heart rates. It could cause the actual chicken itself. It could, kick your cholesterol out of whack, and majority of the meat is chicken breast, right? And so you got a lot of these hormones that they're injecting these chickens with to make them bigger and fatter, to where you will find a lot of people that consume chicken breasts. They're actually growing breasts. And so when you look at the issue that's taking place, I think it's on a larger scale when it comes to what actually happened and what's actually happening in these urban areas. And if we're not careful, it could affect those that are very close to us.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why is Zoom acting so funny right now. It's only showing me, right, even when I'm not talking. And it doesn't matter what setting I put it on. It's so weird. Say something real quick. I'm sorry, man.
Yes, and so with that being a conspiracy, can one say that, this has happened for population control, as a conspiracy? It's many things that you could actually consider the why.
Yeah, speaking of population control, I believe you hit the nail right on the head, my dear brother. You hit the nail right on the head. Uh, One way for population control, right, is to limit the mass production or uh, set obstacles or roadblocks or uh, whatever you can do to stifle the mass production of food. That is definitely a tool. Um, Now, you see, there are some powerful people. There are a group of people, elites, who I believe they want to control the population. And why? Why is that? Well, their reasoning behind this is because they believe that anybody under the top 10%, that's the rest of us 90 to 80%, uh, they believe that we are using up all of the resources. Okay. If you look at China, I mean, not China, but, this whole climate change thing, I am not a believer in climate change. I believe it is a hoax. It is something that they are putting out there to transfer all the wealth. Okay. Um, and they're also using that as an excuse for population control. Because what do some of the experts say? Some of the way out there experts in climate change, they say that there are too many people on this earth. Think about that. These so-called experts think that there are too many people on this earth, and that is the reason why we are experiencing climate change. And 100 years from now, the earth will explode into a massive ball of fire because there are too many people on this earth. Now, if you're a believer in the Bible like I am, I don't know what religion, if any, you ascribe to, my brother. but I am a Christian. I have been a Christian my entire life. And the Bible has what's in it is called prophecy, right? Now, in Bible prophecy, right, it it predicts a antichrist, a satanic person who will someday gain control of the one world government. He will basically rule the world, right? And he will force people to take a mark on his behalf, right? To where you
Right.
cannot buy or sell or own private property or and the people who are without this mark, right? Uh, the people who assume this mark, right? Are the Bible says you are eternally eternally forsaken. Basically, your chances of getting into heaven is pretty much a wrap. Okay.
Right.
Um, Now the mark, even the mark of the beast, as they say, as it says in the Bible, is a derivative of a numeric number. That number being 666. Okay. I was gonna discuss something else too. It's called Project High Jump. Are you familiar with Project High Jump?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me elaborate a little bit on that, and then I'll let you uh, give your thoughts. But Project High Jump is a project between the United States government and a couple of other governments where they agreed to um, collaborate with uh, beings, beings that call them that we society terms extraterrestrials, UFOs. Okay,
Right.
so the government had this deep black project. They call it a black because nobody it's classified. Not even, I mean, extremely classified. I think there's another word for how for uh, being classified that is so extreme that the United States president doesn't even have clearance to even know about it. Okay, so and that's another thing. Like, how can our government have programs where nobody can have access to? It is so secretive and so, it's almost like it's, you know they can pretty much do whatever the hell they want to do, right? With no oversight or no regulation, right? And I'm talking about intelligence agencies. You know, they
Right.
have clearances where the president, the United States Congress, senators with on oversight committees whose job it is to regulate these organizations, right? Those people can't even have access to some of the programs that they create. You know what I mean? So
Right.
so we essentially have an out of control government. Anytime they can do stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, but anyway, Project High Jump was a collaboration between Australia, United States, I believe a country in Europe, where under Eisenhower, right, President Eisenhower, they collaborated with extraterrestrial beings, so-called. And I say so-called. I'll tell you. I'll let you know why I say so-called. Because I believe that they're straight out of hell, basically. But they're demons, okay? But they collaborated with these beings for power, for weapons, for um, aircraft technology, okay? And in exchange for labor, right? So what they did was they sent they sent a group of people down in a somewhere in a cave somewhere, right? And these beings had these people build aircraft, okay? Build aircraft for what they called a war, a intergalactic war that they were going to have, where they were going against God, okay? And these beings implicitly they implicitly demanded for none of them to say the word Jesus, okay? Because I guess if you were to say that word, it would be a threat to them, or I don't know what was the reasoning behind that, but I do know this. I do know that when you are a exorcist, okay, and you exorcise demons from someone, and whenever you say the word Jesus, right, then these demons they tend to uh, just buckle down and just scatter and run away. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but they implicitly demanded that they not say that name. Okay. Um, so yeah, uh, this was a operation they had for to use human beings as slave labor to manufacture some of their aircraft for a war that they proclaimed that they were having an intergalactic war. Okay. Now, some believe that war is the Battle of Armageddon that the Bible talks about, right? And they actually believe that they're going to have a chance of winning against God, basically, right?
Right.
So I don't know, man. There's a lot of theories about it, man. A lot of secondhand information. There's information on YouTube. It's called Project High Jump. What are your thoughts on that, my brother?
Yes, sir. And so when you look at it, I think another name would be for it would be the U.S. Naval Antarctic Development Project of 1947. You know, but later it became, Operation High Jump, which was issued, during that time. And so when you look at how it was developed on ice in Antarctica, you know, those 4,700 men, that was in those 13 ships, you know what I'm saying? And you look at the number 13, you know, that's like a superstitious number. That's a conspiracy number to where you would have a corporate office building that would get you to the 12th floor and it would skip 13 and go right to 14. You know what I mean? And so when you look at, the numbers and you look at, all of those things, you'll find that there are a lot of conspiracies within the United States Navy in developing the ability of these naval forces to operate under any climatic condition to where these men were under like sub-zero type weather type situations to the point to where how do you survive that? And when you have Admiral Byrd, who was designated as officer in charge of the project, I mean, when you see his character, it's just, it became a threat not only to Latin America, but all over the world.
No, this admiral didn't. I was looking. I ran out of time, man. And I know I should have come prepared a little better. Yeah, I meant to look up another story. I don't know if this. I think this might be related, but anyway, a group of people got together and they performed this satanic ritual in the 1950s where they were trying to open up a portal and they were trying to communicate with Satan himself. Okay, and I believe from what I heard, the accounts that I heard, I'm now I'm paraphrasing on this story because I haven't researched it like I should have, but uh, according to their accounts, by all accounts, they succeeded. Okay, they succeeded in what they were trying to do, uh, and they unleashed something upon the world. As a result, they ended up opening a portal, and they could not close the portal. Now, um, in in a matter of a couple of days afterwards, people started seeing all this aircraft in the sky. It was lots of reports of UFOs, and I believe the Roswell incident, the crash landing of the UFO, the Roswell incident, happened like a couple days afterward, after this ritual that they did, right? Have you heard of anything about that? Do you know anything about that that you can share with us?
Yeah, so you speaking about the CERN when it comes to that CERN
No,
ritual?
no, no. I'm not talking about CERN. I'm talking about this. This occurred in the 1950s.
Okay. Then no, I'm not aware of that. No.
Okay. Yeah, I meant to research that, but yeah, you're dealing with a government, man, who um, the first Iraq War, Operation Desert Storm, as a pretense to the war, they aired a lot of videos of Kuwait under duress, right? It would turn out later that those videos were faked. There were actors, hired actors. Okay, so we're dealing with a government who lies. Okay, going back to the second war, the second Iraq war, where the government swore up and down that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, WMD. I remember hearing that everywhere when I was younger. We gotta go in there and we gotta get Saddam, right? So what happened? We go in there, we lose thousands and thousands of lives, U.S. soldiers. We spend millions and billions of dollars, and what do we find? No weapons of mass destruction. Uh, you're talking about a government um, who pretty much lied about the Russia hoax. You know, when it comes to Donald Trump. You know, I are you familiar with the Russia hoax?
Russia hoax itself? No, I'm not.
Okay, so basically, they went after President Trump. They indicted several people. They investigated him up and down. Um, the news media reported on it almost every single day, right? It was almost ingrained in the psyche of American culture that President Donald Trump uh, worked for Russia or was some type of agent for the Russian government. Okay,
Mhm.
and for years, we had to sit back and listen to all of these news reports. Entertainers in Hollywood, uh, politicians. Donald Trump works for Russia. He doesn't care about us, right? It all boiled down to a uh, fake piece of document that the Hillary Clinton campaign ended up. She ended up. She did opposition research on Donald Trump, and she essentially hired a fiction writer, right? And the fiction writer was behind this fake dossier, right? And they took the dossier and they gave it to the FBI, and the FBI was looking to bring him down anyway. Um, so you have a government that's behind that, and the same government who openly admitted to being involved in the assassination of Martin Luther King. It's all out there in the public domain if you want to look it up. In court, the FBI openly admitted to being involved in the assassination of Martin Luther King. We even have some believe, and I'm not saying it's true or not, but some believe that our government had something to do with the assassination of a U.S. president, a president by the name of JFK, John F. Kennedy. So when you have a government that's capable of all of these lies and you know uh, the question it begs the question, what else are they capable of? You know,
That's true.
what
That
else
is
are
very
they capable of?
that is very true.
Do you have anything to add? Cause I'm getting ready to shut this thing down, and I
Well,
got more work to do.
yes. And so it's very interesting, um, it's interesting when you do your research on this because when you go to the authority, you have to go to the source. And what is the source? We would have to go to a book that is world famous, which is called what? The Bible, right? And when you go to the
Yes, sir.
Bible and you turn to you go into Isaiah chapter 45, and you go into 45, and then you go down to verse number 5. Okay. And I don't know if you currently have a Bible handy. Do you have a Bible at hand or no?
Not handy.
Okay.
It's
All
actually
right.
in the car.
Okay. All right.
It's in the car.
It's Yeah. So when you go in there,
Maybe I could
uh,
look it up for you. I could look it up for you though.
okay.
What's the
Yes, if
chapter
you
and verse?
go to let's see, Isaiah chapter 45, and then I'll have you to start at verse 5. And if you can read down, I'll let you know when to stop.
Start off at verse 5.
Yes.
Okay. Verse 5. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, thou, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all things.
All right, now stop
Drop
right there.
down, ye.
Now, if you stop right there, what we just read is he introduced himself to us, and he said, "But there may be some things that you do not know about me." And so he goes on to explain who he is and who's not on his level. And he goes on and to say that he formed the light and created darkness. He create peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. And so when you look at the source of all of these conspiracies and all of these different things that take place in the earth, when you go to the authority and you go to the actual script, you will find something there that everything is in divine order. And that divine order comes from God.
Do you mind my asking what religion do you ascribe to, my brother?
Well, I wouldn't even say that it would be called a religion. I would say that I have the foundation on Christianity because my parents they raised us up as Christians coming up, and so with that foundation being Christianity, we are able to lean on that book, which is the authority, in which we will go to for guidance, we will go to for inspiration, we will go to it for prophecy, and we'll go to it for sacred wisdom that is provided.
I agree with everything you say. Everything you said, and I'll just add one more thing for myself. That is, I lean on it for salvation because the Bible can be summed up. The Bible can be summed up with just one verse. Everything else in the Bible provides a context and a nuance But the one verse that sums everything up in the Bible. Let me find it. Just give me 1 second. John 3:16. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Now, that one verse I just said, if you break it down, it says a lot. It says a great deal. For God so loved the world. We have a loving God. A God who loved everybody, or loves. I don't want to say past tense, but loves everyone. Anyone from the killer to the drug dealer to the rapist to God loves everybody. That he gave his only begotten Son. He sent Jesus, being the Word of God, to the earth. He was made flesh and born of a virgin. That whosoever believeth in him should not perish. And the connotation of that alone, whosoever believeth, right? The Bible goes on to explain what how a believer should conduct himself in his life. How a believer should think, walk, talk, act, all of that stuff. Should not perish. If you believe in him, you will live and live everlasting life. And that right there is what I ascribe to. And I, like you said, man, I was raised by my mother, who was a devout Christian. And, she made us get up early in the morning. Sometimes we didn't even want to get up. And we would get up and we would go to church,
Right.
And I can say this too. That's the one thing that keeps me sane in the world getting increasingly evil, where it seems like when you turn on the news, every news report seems to outdo the other one as far as evil is concerned, the world is becoming an increasingly wicked place. And what did Jesus say? Jesus said, that upon my return, the world will be like such as it was in the days of Noah. There aren't that many accounts of what those days were like, right? But uh, I'll just say this about that is that um, Noah at the time was the only believer that God could find in the entire world. The only person that was worth saving. Okay? That he made him build a boat for him and his family. Everyone else was wicked. The entire globe. Okay? So if that doesn't tell you how evil the world was back then I don't know what else would, you know. But
Mhm. And so
any
when you
final
look
thoughts, my
at,
brother?
yeah, so when you look at the core on, what I'm saying, what this evil is, as we read in Isaiah 45:7, God said, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. What is that saying to you when it pertains to the evil of this world?
Okay. Uh, when it what I get from that is I don't get that God himself is evil. Okay. Um, because that would make him a liar. He says in other places that I am good, I am life, I am the resurrection, right? So I don't take from that he creates evil. Now, I will say this. I will say that anytime when God creates a mankind, right, with the freedom of choice, okay, as a result of that freedom of choice, right, because we would be robots. We wouldn't have liberty. We would be programmed like the birds, like the animals. They all go about their paths in nature, right? And they don't think. They don't reason like we do. They don't make choices like we do, right? So, as a result of choice, people choose to do evil. Now, does God create the person that does the evil? Yes. Does God create the universe and uh, the existence and the reality where evil can exist? Yes. But that does not, by default, make the creator evil. And you have anything else to add to that?
No, I think we've covered it. I really do appreciate you bringing me on the show, and we've went over a lot. And for those that are listening, we ask that you please subscribe, comment, and like the video because we need this information out here, at large. And we appreciate, those that do because we will be bringing some great content to you on the daily. With D. Letterman leading this thing, we are on the right track.
And I just wanted to say this live on YouTube. My brother I thank you and I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Your time is valuable. I appreciate you giving your support and sticking it out with me through this struggle stream, my brother.
Well, hey, man, all is well. All is well.
So I take it you can't hear that soundbite that I keep playing with the Tony Stark, right?
No, did not hear it.
Man, that's so crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna figure this out, and next time this should be humming like a Rolex, okay?
That sounds good to me, good brother.
All right, so I'm gonna play this exit, even though you can't hear it. Hopefully, people on YouTube can hear it. I don't know, but this is a struggle stream. I just want to throw that disclaimer out there. This is a struggle stream. You might as even call it a practice run, which um, I don't really. I wasn't planning on this being a practice run, but it turned out to be on that quality level of practice. So we're gonna get this right, man. And like I said, we're building the plane as we fly. All right, my brother. Until the next one, you have a blessed week ahead, and
You
see
got
you
it.
on the flip side, my brother.
You will. You
Yep.
guys have a wonderful night.